Here is how to install Cedar Impressions D7 Straight Edge Perfection shingles. Strike a level line around the house and install Cedar Impressions Metal Starter. If you plan to use Cedar Impressions mitered corner post, as we will, make sure the starter strip is installed to the edge of the corner. An alternative to using starter strip is to use J-channel in place of the starter strip to receive the bottom edge of the panel. Next, mark the position of the corners by marking, then chalking a line 3 inches from the corner. Cedar Impressions panels install from the right to the left. Begin by cutting off the end of the top course of the panel at indicator A, which is located above the nail slots. This will result in a straight edge on the right side of the panel. Starting on the right side of the wall, hook the bottom locking leg of the panel into the starter strip and slide the panel into the corner post or receiving channel. Leave 1/4 inch space between the panel and the corner for expansion. Fasten the panel to the wall by nailing through the center hole of the nailing hem at the top of the panel. This will control the direction of expansion and contraction. Continue nailing the panel with 5 nails, 1 in the right end nail slot and 1 at each of the quick reference fastening indicators. Drive nails straight, not angled, into solid wood or nailable substrate. Leave 1/8 inch to 1/16 inch between the nail heads and the panel to allow for freedom of movement during expansion and contraction of the panel. Install the next panel by positioning it below the starter strip and next to the first panel. Push in and up to lock the panel into the starter strip and the side tabs of the first panel. Space the second panel according to the panel temperature at the corresponding temperature indicator lines. Nail the panel into position, starting with the round center hole and then placing the next nail in the right end nail slot so the nail goes through both panels' nail slots simultaneously. Nail the rest of the panel through the centers of the remaining nail slots at the quick reference fastening indicators. Using the same methods of spacing and nailing, install the remaining panels of the first course. For partial panels, you may center pin the panel by placing a nail at each side of the nail slot. To install the second course, begin by cutting off the right side of the panel at indicator B, which is located above the nail slots. Starting on the right side of the wall, hook the bottom locking leg of the panel into the previous course and slide the panel into the corner post or receiving channel. Leave a 1/4 inch space between the panel and the corner for expansion. To control the direction of expansion and contraction, place a nail at each side of the centermost nail slot. Continue the second course as you did the first, spacing the panels according to temperature. Center pinning the panel, connecting adjoining panels, and then fastening the center of the remaining slots at the quick reference indicators. When you reach an outside corner, if you are installing the mitered corner post, cut the panel so it ends 3 inches short of the corner. To install under a window or other opening, install Cedar Impressions undersill trim beneath the window or opening. Cut the panel to fit under the window. Using a snap lock punch, raise tab faces on the outside of the panel a 1/4 inch from the trimmed edge, 6 inches apart. Lock the panel into the previous course. Then snap the panel in place. Finally, drill a 3/16 inch hole through the center of the panel and install a color-matched nail to control the direction of expansion. In some installation situations, you will not need to install undersill trim before installing a panel under a window. In this case, we had to remove a small amount of the nailing hem to notch the panel out around the window. After securing with a color-matched nail, the final panel beneath the window was cut right near the butt edge, so undersill trim was not needed. To install a panel over a window or opening, cut the panel to fit by measuring from the locking tab of the previous row to the bottom of the receiving pocket. Add 1/8 inch to this measurement. Turn the panel over and, using this measurement, measure from the bottom of the return leg. Cut the panel to this dimension. Install the cut panel by positioning it over the window and into the receiving pocket. Lock the cut panel into the previous course by pushing in and up. The cut edge should be 1/4 inch below the top of the receiving pocket. Before you continue the installation, now is a good time to install the receiver for the cornice molding, which will finish off the wall. Install the receiver all the way to the edge of the corner. To finish the wall, measure for the last course. This panel should end 1/4 inch below the flange of the cornice receiver. Rip cut to the proper width. Then use a nail slot punch to punch slots every 6 to 8 inches, 1/4 inch from the panel edge. Finally, lock in the panel and loose nail in place. Once the siding is installed on both sides of the corner, we will install the mitered corner post. You may find, however, that installing the mitered corner post is easier if you install each corner piece at the same time as you complete each course on both walls, as it allows you to make minor adjustments to the wall panels as you work your way up the wall. Lock the first corner over the siding, being sure it also locks into the starter strip. The top of the corner must be in line with the top of the panel. Nail the corner through the top 2 nail slots. These may be nailed tight. When only one wall can be installed at a time, it is critical that the starter strips be level. This will ensure a proper fit between the corner posts and the panels on the next wall side, as the courses are installed up the wall. When you reach the top of the corner, cut a corner piece to length. Drill nail holes and nail in place. To finish off the top of the wall, snap cornice molding into the cornice receiver. The molding should finish 1/4 inch from the edge of the topmost corner post piece. At corners, hook the top of the cornice cap over the end of the cornice moldings from both walls and snap the bottom of the cornice cap in place. Alternately, you can slide the cornice cap over one of the cornice moldings until the second cornice molding can be inserted. If installing D7 staggered perfection shingles, install staggered mitered corners. They install just like the D9 rough split shakes shown here. These corners have right side cut marks at 1/8 inch increments to allow you to fit the corner to the differing panel heights you may encounter as you finish a course. Trim the corner gap one course at a time as needed to fit the panel. Otherwise, the staggered mitered corners install just like the mitered corners already shown.